Gold, 2016, plot. The film is based on the scam 1993 to 1997-1981, USA, Nevada, Reno. Kenny Wells works for the exploration company Washoe Mining Incorporated. Years after the death of his father, who ran the company is barely afloat, its shares are almost worthless. After the loss of the office, Kenny and his colleagues are working from Kenny's girlfriend Kay's bar. Wells, who lives with his girlfriend, decides to go to Indonesia, where he meets geologist Michael Acosta, who recently discovered the largest copper deposit in the region. They conclude a contract, promising to earn whatever it costs and dividing the future profit in advance in a ratio of 50-50. Both suffer from a lack of money, but in the end they manage to purchase a plot of land in Kalimantan where gold deposits may be located. After that, Kenny returns to the USA, where he finds some of the necessary funding. Unfortunately, the study of the soil does not show the presence of any gold, after which, against the background of a shortage of money, the workers leave the camp. Acosta manages to fix the situation, who buys water purification equipment for local residents with the last $2,000 Kenny had. Wells catches malaria and is on the verge of life and death for several weeks, asking his partner to continue the search in order not to make his death unjustified. After recovering, he discovers active work in the camp. The vein actually turned out to be gold-bearing, 1/8 of an ounce per ton of earth. After the celebration, Kenny returns to the USA, where Washoe Mining Incorporated is moving its office to a skyscraper. The company's shares begin to rise sharply, from 4 to 23 cents apiece, in price after the organization of their partial placement by a local bank, which previously refused to finance its projects. Brown/Thomas Bank from Wall Street is showing interest in the firm, offering a strategic partnership. Wells strongly opposes, and Mike suggests that the bank employees go with him to Indonesia. The trip is successful. Bank employees find a whole nugget. After that, the bank invests $20 million in the company, also organizing its IPO on September 8, 1988 and inclusion in the register of the New York Stock Exchange. The company's shares are enjoying great success. Their price on the first day of trading reaches $70 apiece. Kenny begins to burn through life at parties, while Kay is afraid of being deceived by his new acquaintances. As a result, she fights with him, then leaves because of his flirtation with the bank employee Rachel Hill. The owner of a large gold mining company Newport Holdings, Mark Hancock, expresses a desire to buy the company, paying $300 million for a majority stake. But Kenny refuses the deal, since after it his last name will be removed from the name of the company. The next day, Mike reports that the Indonesian authorities have nationalized the vein, and their failed buyer is behind all this. The former U.S. president, who is friends with the country's president Suharto, is on its board of directors. After that, the company's shares fall, and it is excluded from the exchange's register. Mike decides to console his partner and admits that he himself by a lucky chance discovered a copper deposit during an expedition to search for bauxite. Kenny is depressed and considers himself defeated, but Acosta arrives in the United States and offers a plan to return the field. It was decided to create a joint company with the president's son, which succeeds after Kenny strokes the Indonesian's pet tiger to demonstrate his willpower. Work on the vein has resumed. The company, 85% owned by the dictator's son, and 15% owned by Washoe, is estimated at $30 billion. Kenny decides to return to Kay, but after seeing her flirting with a colleague at a new job, he does not want it. The National Association of Geological Prospectors awards him with a golden pickaxe. During his solemn speech, Acosta leaves the hall. The next day, on the way to the office, Kenny meets an angry crowd. It turns out that an independent investigation has not confirmed the presence of gold in the vein. Mike simply falsified samples from the vein with the help of salting, and the gold he discovered was river gold. He received it from the local population in exchange for water purification equipment. All this time, Acosta quietly got rid of the company's shares through offshore companies, having managed to earn $164 million. On October 17, 1988, the FBI interrogates Kenny in his hotel room, for which he can no longer pay. The security forces believe his version and tell about the fate of Acosta. He was captured by the Indonesian authorities, and after they conducted negative independent analyses of the soil of the vein for the presence of gold, he fell out of a helicopter from a height of 300 meters. The soldiers found his corpse, whose face and hands were eaten by wild pigs, which is why Mike's death cannot be proved with 100% accuracy. The autopsy results are classified. The corpse was cremated. At the same time, Suharto's son managed to get rid of the company's shares before its collapse. Agents are asking Kenny if he knew about the fraud and if he himself was involved in the scam. After negative answers, they leave. Agent Paul Jennings before that reminds that the agency will monitor him and his financial activity. Kenny returns to Kay's house, where he apologizes to her and receives a pile of letters from her that have accumulated since their last meeting. He opens one of the envelopes and finds there a napkin on which he and Mike signed the contract. Under this document is a deposit check for $82 million from the First Bank of Gibraltar.